Here's Debra Cooke, and I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my talk show.
Well, thank you for having me.
Now, for people who want to know what uncensored is, uncensored's my way of showing people that even with a learning disability, I can still overcome controversy and reach my goals in life. At the same time, I'm able to turn myself into a perfect example for people out there dealing with any type of learning disability or disabilities, but you should never give up and you should prove to people you can still amount to something. And it's about just making a statement saying you look at what able excuse me, what we're able to accomplish in life. Now, with that being said, it's a normal conversation. You have as much time as you like. So starting off, what can you tell us about yourself?
Well, I'm an actor and now also a screenwriter, and I live in Manhattan, but I also have a home in Maine where I grew up, and that will always be a special place to me. It's on a lake and there's no place like it, so I love it. But I did go to college I studied theater in college and had a scholarship to study abroad, and I was at the Marlowe Repertory Theatre for a year as an intern, and also studied television and film production. So not only have I worked in front of the camera, but I've also worked as crew, mostly as a location casting director on projects like Man Without a Face and In the Bedroom and The Fingerprints and Empire Falls and some others. But I've also worked as a first assistant director.
Oh, that's really cool. Now, we're in the city, or you said Manhattan, right?
Yes.
How's the rent in Manhattan?
Oh, I love it here. I had an apartment in Brooklyn, but a lot of my work, my meetings and things are right in Manhattan, so this ended up falling into place and it's working out very well.
Well, I'm always looking for a studio. Would you recommend any good places, or?
For a studio apartment?
Well, that and also for my talk show.
Oh, there's a lot of studios that you can rent out for, like a part-time thing. I do a lot of auditions at Shetler Studio on 54th Street, and there's several others around the city that people use for auditions, and I'm sure there's places that actually have recording equipment already there as well that you could rent.
Well, if you could help me out, I appreciate it.
I'll keep my eyes open for you.
No, so any other questions of us, and then you can ask me anything you want. It's a normal conversation. When you were growing up, did you ever do any sports? Were you a study nerd, party animal in college?
I was very shy, I think, when I was growing up. Some people might not say that about me, but I think that I was pretty shy. I grew up in a very, very small town. So, thinking about Manhattan would have been, such a big city to me. So, I did a lot of sports when I was younger. Elementary school and junior high, I still played softball and things. But in high school, I got into cheerleading, which was fun, and we did a lot of physical things, and we also did organize rallies where we did sketch comedy in there as part of the thing. And then I got into theater in high school, and I actually won the dramatic award for the high school, so that was kind of nice.
The one thing I want to start doing is when I have some extra money, I have to pay off my credit card. That's the first thing I do, but I want to start doing my interviews in person. And maybe when we do a follow-up in like a year or so, would you be interested in doing that, or you're not?
Sure. That would be fun.
Because I've been reaching out to a couple of places because I'm looking for a studio, like I mentioned, for my talk show. You know, first I was doing Skype, and that's like, well, that's okay. Well, now, how can I get more people interested? And like I said, your friend was supposed to be with us, and we were going to say, hey, let's do a double interview. But it's like, well, that's good, but it's still, you know, distance. It's like, well, okay, how can you make it different? So I tried talking to a couple of hotels saying, hey, how much would it be to rent like a room for like a half hour, or use a conference room? And they were saying, oh, 1,400, 800, and it's, no, it's kind of ridiculous. But hey, if you want to create like a partnership, or I can pay you rent to use your place for a studio or for a talk show.
I don't know. This is a very small place. My place in Brooklyn was bigger, but this is a very tiny place. I don't know if it would be really, really good for what you need. But I do know that Shetler Studio is extremely reasonable and does, you know, charge by the hour or a couple hours. And I do a lot there. I am involved with Artistic New Directions, their And Exchange, which is an improv group that gets together every weekend. We get together there. I don't think that that it's very expensive, I think.
Well, how much do you think that's, well, on the subject, do you think it's like $100 for like an hour, or?
Oh, I would think it would be less than that. I would think it would be $50 for a couple hours. I'm just guessing, but you can look it up online. I'm sure they have their rates right there.
Alright, well, if you can put a good word in, I'd be thankful.
Alright, I'll get you a brochure. I'll see if I can find out more, because I have to be there again on Wednesday. So.
Now, the next question I was going to ask you is, so you mentioned you were a cheerleader. Did you ever want to be a professional cheerleader, or was it just for fun?
Well, I was a cheerleader also in college, and by then we had, there was a male cheerleader for every female cheerleader, and we were doing lifts and trampoline stunts and pyramids that were pretty incredible. So we were getting quite a bit of attention. We ended up competing nationally, and we came in the top 10 squads in the country. So I had a lot of fun. That was one of my favorite things of all time, to be doing that. I was also a dancer, so I was able to incorporate all of that. And so that was a lot of fun. I never thought about doing it professionally, but when I was cheering, that's when there was a news crew from a local CBS affiliate that had got me doing some pom-pom routine. And they ended up using it for a commercial. They came back to the school, and they came back to me and had, release signs, because I was in school uniform, and they used it for a regional dairy commercial. And later, they had me do 8 more commercials for the same dairy company. So that's how I got involved in all this. I ended up being able to go in while they were editing and watch the process, and even help them with ideas for the next commercial. We shot in my hometown with my parents one day. We did cross-country skiing. We did me doing some artwork. So they kind of, it was kind of a fun time in my life, and that's when I became very interested in both sides, the production side as well as the acting side of the industry.
Yeah, it's funny you should mention the pyramid stuff. I'm a big fan of that. I know, I'm a loser.
Oh, I didn't catch that. What did you say?
Oh, I'm a big fan of the human pyramid stuff. I know, I'm a loser.
I know, sometimes when I say I'm a cheerleader, I feel like, I was a cheerleader. Yeah, I was. I know. But I think cheerleaders are pretty incredible athletes. They have it all. They have the dance, they have agility, and that's pretty scary when you're way up there and you're falling and you're getting caught by 2 others and things. You have to have a lot of trust, and I did have some injuries. I got dropped and I hit my head, and there was but I survived, and I had a blast. It was one of the most fun things I've ever done.
Now, for the pyramid stuff, was it like when someone was holding you, or was it the normal pyramid?
We would go up, I would say, four people high. We were really up there. And I would be one of the flyers, they call it, which is way up on the top because I didn't weigh that much. I was one of the smaller weight people in the squad. So,
So, like the kneeling one, right?
I wasn't the kneeling one, no.
So it was the standing one?
I was the one that would kind of find myself on the top, and sometimes that was a feat in itself, how you get bounded up there, way up there. But so I kind of have enjoyed and still have the knack of kind of crawling up people. Actually, I used that last summer. I locked myself out of my parents' cottage, and we were trying to find a way in, so I ended up like crawling. We didn't have a ladder or anything, so I was like, okay, stand like this. I'm still, using the hip area to stand on, and then the shoulder, and then up through a window. So yeah, that paid off, those skills.
That's true. Now I'm going to pass the show over to you. Is there any subjects that you're passionate about? Anything you want to ask me or talk about?
Well, how do you pick your subjects for interviews?
Well, pretty much as a normal conversation. I started off, I interviewed voiceover actors. Then I was like, okay, well, what else can I do? Then I interviewed actors, actresses, models, and I recently started to interview a couple independent wrestlers. And I was like, okay, well, I want to be more professional. What else can I do? And I started to reach out to CEOs, and I pretty much interview anyone who wants to have a normal conversation, who wants to support my cause, and make a new friend out of it. And it's just pretty much, like I said, I got into an argument with one person, because it says uncensored, or, oh, you have girls on there showing their boobs or whatever. Or I may say the F word occasionally, but it's kind of like, not really. If it comes up, it comes up. But uncensored, I mentioned this in my past interviews, uncensored, it's just freedom of speech and freedom of self-expression. And that's really what it's all about. It's just expressing yourself and just, making a new friend, and it's enjoying yourself. It's not putting labels on yourself.
I think it's a great idea. I think you've come up with a great idea.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, I do think that it would be nice to have the people in the same, like a talk show format. That
right.
would be, I could see you doing that later on. So good luck with that.
Well, if you would love to help me, I'm always looking for people. I try, like I mentioned, trying to rent some spaces, but it's $1,000 or it's either $800, and it's kind of like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Now, so would you take your camera equipment in there, or?
The only equipment I have, I can show you afterwards. It's just a camera and a stand. It's like, oh, what do you need light in? It's like, no, it's just basically, it's just easy. That's all I need is camera, and I can do the rest. It's, oh, well, what about lighting and sound, and you have this and you have that. It's like, no, I'm an expert in that. I can fix all that. It's like, all I need is a small area, a table or a chair or whatever, or where you are right now. It's a small area, and that's all I need. But, you have to do this and do that. And for me to get to the city, it's $300, up and back. Unless I take a bus, I'm kind of hesitant about that. But,
where are you?
But I'd rather take a taxi or a car, you take me to point A and take me to point B.
Uh-huh.
And, kind of less I paid off my credit card. I'm still working on that. But, hey, if you want to help me out, I'm always looking for people to work with. But I don't mean to impose on you. I apologize.
No, I'll definitely keep my eye open for studios, because I do go around to a lot of places where they're holding just for that day an audition, and they have little, good-sized rooms that they do rehearsals for dance or theater or auditions and all that, and I think that they're pretty reasonable.
Yeah, it's funny. I talked to a girl before, while you were trying to message me. I was finishing up an interview, and she's like,
"Oh, I'm losing you. Can you?
No, can you still hear me?
There was a little.
How's it now?
It's better.
I was saying, when you were messaging me before, sending me a message, I was talking to my friend. And she's like, oh, well, you can use my studio, and you can help me do my show, and do this, and do that. And I was like, oh, that's great, but, how am I going to get there? It's still $300 to get, unless you say, yeah, you can spend the night, or, yeah, I can pay you rent or something, but it's still $300 up and back, and it's kind of like, unless I have a credit card to use.
Where are you?
West Point.
West Point?
Yes. You ever been to Woodbury Commons?
No.
Woodbury Commons is near West Point, New York, so that's an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes.
Oh, wow. Well, that's the good thing about Skype. You can do it from anywhere. I think that's a good idea, really. It's very convenient, for me to not have to go somewhere, but I definitely still can see you doing interviews in person as well, so, yeah.
It's funny you should bring up Derby on a subject. I was thinking about, what if I did rent the hotel room, or what if I did rent the conference room? Would people really drive an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes just to do and half-hour, 45-minute interview to drive back, and then it's kind of like, okay, when the person actually gets there, what else are you going to do besides do the interview? So it's kind of like, I didn't really think about it. But for example, if I had my own studio, would you personally drive there, or would you say Skype is easier?
If you had a studio that was like an hour and a half away?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it depends how busy I am, because right now, like today, I'm running all over. I have an audition tomorrow. I'm working Monday, so I can fit things in sometimes, but it's almost like it would take a whole day to come up there and do that and then come back, pretty much. But, if you did a studio here in Manhattan, you may be able to do 5 interviews in one day. That's what you should probably think about doing. And then you have like a whole, I don't know how often you release your interviews with people, but if you did it once a week, that'd be a whole month's work. So once if you came and did 5 in one day, which I would think would be doable, you'd have it all in the can, as they say.
Well, I do the interview, so your interview would be up in the same day, so it's kind of like, that's how passionate I am about my work, I give the best, and I do my best, it's just proving to people that, hey, I have a learning disability, but look at what I'm able to accomplish and prove to people.
Right. Well, I think that's great.
Now, the next question I was going to ask you was, do you have any funny stories or funny pranks that you pulled on people over the years?
Funny stories. Wow. Let me think of in what area. I don't know. I always like to look at life in a somewhat humorous way. I think that's how everybody, it's the easier way to get by, is try to look on things on the lighter side anyway. So I try to surround myself with friends that have kind of that same philosophy, have a sense of humor. And so we're always, finding things to laugh at and to enjoy in that way. And I'm trying to think of a story as I'm saying this. I probably have so many stories. so I did a lot of boating and things, water skiing, and I was canoe and kayak. So I kind of do that as my second nature,
right?
Being a lake liver, and I don't know. I was just trying to. There was one story. There's a friend of mine that she was a next door neighbor, and she and I grew up together. So we used to have all kinds of fun and do all kinds of crazy things. And we used to camp out on the island. And I just remember, that as like a teenager, it was always kind of neat. We're on another part of the island that the boys' camp would be camping out, because then we kind of like be all excited at maybe seeing one of the boy camp counselors or something like that. But one day they ended up kind of paddling by, and the kids were basically taking their leftover breakfast, their eggs, and throwing them into our campsite, which was pretty mean, but I thought it was kind of funny. They weren't really trying to hit us or anything. They were just like being silly little boys and stuff. So that was kind of a funny thing that I remember happened. I guess she had to be there.
Now, wrapping up, do you have anything you want to say to your fans and listeners?
Oh, my fans. I really have a lot of good friends and people I've worked with, and I guess people are calling themselves fans now, which I greatly, greatly appreciate. And I just really like being an actor, or being able to convey a story or a feeling to people, because I think that it makes a greater understanding of life and other people in it, and maybe makes them be able to put themselves in other people's shoes, which I think is a very good thing, having empathy and so forth. And when I am able to move someone by my work, it's one of the best feelings in the world. So I just want to thank my friends and fans for being there and being interested in my work.